And then you just dump them in some empty lot. What the f***ing trash?
I panicked, Marvin.
Welcome back, ODHtv, Raising Kanan, Season 5, Episode 6. I really thought Episodes 6 and 7 were going to be crazy, and then 8 was going to be like a time jump and a setup for Power Origins, but it seems like Episode 6 was the setup for 7 and 8. So I just got finished watching the episode. I just want to give you some quick thoughts on some key scenes that I saw. I'll go in depth in a later video.
But I just couldn't keep it to myself no more. I needed you to know what happened. For you and for me.
This part I thought was interesting, but I knew she was going to keep on lying to Marvin. Because after Marvin's gone, she doesn't have anybody else. But she told him that she just wanted him to know for him and her. I don't think so. This was done after Pino told her he needed to discipline her son. And she did this, telling Marvin about what Kanan did. And really didn't care what the outcome was going to be. She didn't want her son gone, but if it happened, it happened.
Sting. Sorry.
This scene was hard to watch without giggling. He's trying to be all hard and serious looking like that.
I want to know that I'm safe when I'm with you, and if you got people knocking you around like this.
That's crazy. Listen, if your girl says you got people knocking you around like he's being bullied in school, that's crazy. That's embarrassing.
I just don't want anything to happen to you.
That is hilarious. That is hilarious. They had to know how funny we were going to think this was. But however, this was just Kanan coming clean after he told her the truth about everything and about his mom. And she was about to leave, but then, he professed his love to her. This part I thought was a little far-fetched because you got Breeze following a guy like Hafiz around. Dudes like him have soldiers with him. They know counterintelligence, counter-surveillance, and he was following Hafiz everywhere and nobody noticed him. Breeze even followed this dude home. How'd he get there before him? And how'd he get a parking space?
You can't park here. Move.
Even after this, he still follows the dude, and they still don't recognize him or know that they're being followed.
That doesn't make sense.
However, it's just a TV show, right?
I didn't even know what I did at first.
You shot Uncle Lou, Kanan.
I like this scene because Jukebox told Kanan what he needed to hear somebody tell him, even though I know he ain't listening. They got Kanan deranged in this show. He told her what happened and then said it was her fault for covering it up. This dude really said if it wasn't for her bullshit, I wouldn't have been over there like that in the first place. But she let him have it after that because she wasn't going for no more of that nonsense.
You can't say you a man and then act like a bitch.
She let him know he got to take accountability and stop blaming his mother for everything, but, he ain't listening. But at least it was said.
You ain't about shit, Kanan.
So we didn't get a physical fight between these two. Maybe we'll get one next episode. I don't know, because we're going to get that church episode I saw in the coming attractions where we're going to see if Kanan kills Marvin in that church. So if that happens, then maybe we might get that scar on his neck. I'm starting to think they may never address that. I thought this scene was important because it seems like for the time being that Breeze talks Stefano out of jumping out of the window. And they decided that there's another way to get Rock out of the picture. And that was by getting Hafiz Rock's connect to cut her off and hook him up with Breeze. We also finally got this scene at Kanan's trap house, which was very uneventful. He walked in and walked out. And this part, god damn. Kanan comes to his trap house and sees his dude sitting around not working. And Crank is telling Kanan that everybody's scared about what happened at the trap house. And we ain't been working because we ain't been seeing you. And now it looked like that because you got a little f***ed up.
Sometime a nigga gotta take a minute.
Fuck you just say to me.
Pew, pew, pew. Go to sleep. He's still doing two to the body, one to the head like his mama taught him. That was one of his day ones.
Get the f back to work. Yeah.
R.I.P. Crank. Now, we also had Detective Garcia go to see Agent Tanner from the FBI. This dude didn't really want to tell Garcia anything, but he did point him in the right direction. He pointed him to Captain Baptiste and told him that his retirement was not voluntary. So he goes to Captain Baptiste's retirement party and confronts him about the famous case. Baptiste gets mad and walks away from him. He said, I don't appreciate what you asking me, and told him, just because I'm a civilian now doesn't mean I won't put you on your ass, Garcia. Breeze gives Kanan a new car. Rock goes to see Lou's old psychiatrist, and Marvin visits Lou's grave. The only thing really significant about this is that while he's at Lou's grave, he tells Lou he doesn't even know what he's doing anymore, which I think is going to lead to him going back to that church and talking to that pastor and possibly getting murked by Kanan. We also had this scene with Detective Garcia where he goes home and Captain Baptiste is standing there waiting for him and confesses that he shared information with Snaps and Pop. But he didn't know that Snaps and Pop was going to take Famous out. He goes home, puts on his uniform, and eats the blue flame.
That's a sissy.
Marvin going to see Flossie to ask her if she felt better after she took out the dude that murdered her daughter. It seems like Marvin's more like, now I don't know if I even want to take Kanan out, but I still think this is still going to lead him back to that church that could possibly lead to Marvin's demise. Now with this Amber situation, Marvin has Jukebox and Amber meet each other because something happens to him. He wants Jukebox to be able to take care of Amber. This is Jukebox we're talking about. But what's interesting about this scene is that Amber is now not sticking to the story, and she told the cops that she wasn't sure because they scared her to death. Which reminds me of a scene that we didn't see yet that was in one of the trailers of Jukebox with a gun, and she's pointing it, but she's pointing it down. I'm saying that because Jukebox goes to see Garcia later on, but Garcia gives her back the money and says, I can't do this anymore. And Jukebox says, yeah, I don't know what I was doing either. But she tells him she has one more thing she needs him to look into. And I'm thinking that she wants him to look into where Marvin's case is as far as Amber is concerned. But the scene I'm talking about where Jukebox is pointing that gun downward, is she going to take out this little girl because she can't keep her mouth shut? Let me know in the comments what you think about that. Now, Kanan wants to get back at his mother, but Breeze tells him to leave Rock alone. If he's going to do something, it has to be done strategic. It has to be done right. Also says she didn't come at us. She came at you. This ain't got nothing to do with our business. But Kanan decides to do his own thing. He makes a plan with Jarita to go take out Flossie, where she decides to tell Flossie she quit. And when she walks out, she leaves the door open for Kanan to walk in. But as we know from the trailer, Flossie already gets the drop on him. But he tells her he has beef with the woman she's working with, which is his mother. Between him and Stefano, who's the goofiest? However, Rock goes to see Hafiz to get the business back together. But he says, nah, I'm done with you. And she's like, all right, watch. So later that night, her and Marvin pull up to Hafiz's spot to go and take out his right-hand man. Well, he tries to escape and runs into Marvin in the back. And then Rock comes and puts the last two in him.
Why?
People making real emotional decisions in this episode. I was thinking that Marvin might be able to escape, man, but it's just leading more and more to Marvin not making it out of here. And I think that church scene is really significant. I think Kanan might actually do that job. Or this emotional stuff is one big fake out and Marvin does make it out of Queens. I doubt it, though.